Hi, everybody. It's Kanesha from Bold Living Today. Welcome to Wednesday Club, and this is our weekly interactive broadcast show where we can connect. And Wednesday Club is all about creativity, learning from and successfully navigating life transitions, unlearning and tangling from things and thoughts that keep us small, and building and amplifying our boldness. So those are all the things that club stands for. So yay, I'm so happy to have people join us today. Some of you know I live in California. I'm in Northern California in the Bay Area. And right now we are experiencing rolling blackouts through our utility system because there's supposed to be high winds, and they're worried about wildfires because last year we had some really tragic and terrible things happen in regards to the electricity company, and how the wind went. And a lot of people lost homes, lost lives, and it was pretty tragic. So apparently in preparation for that, we're having a rolling blackout, and the utility company's website has crashed. So where you go and you put in your address to check to see if it's going to affect your area, you can't access that. So I've been looking on Twitter and trying to follow along with it. So far so good in my area. They said certain things would take place around noon. So it's noon Pacific time, so we'll see. So I wasn't sure we were going to do Wednesday Club today, but I'm glad we're able to. And I also postponed. I was teaching my class tonight, focus on abundance, but I have also moved that just in case. Um, the rolling blackouts were going to affect that tonight. But I'm happy to say that that is a sold out course, so I'm super excited about that. And it's my first time running it specifically around the abundance of autumn. And so there will also be an online purchase to participate, online workshop to purchase if you weren't able to participate in the sold out one. So super excited about that. And autumn is my favorite season. I feel like it's a great time to plant seeds, to get really creative, to get cozy in where you are in the calendar year, and really spend a lot of time nurturing things that you've already done, nurturing things that are still in progress, and nurturing things in preparation for the year to come as you move forward and as you've had time to reflect and take a breath in between doing things and getting stuff done. So in the last Wednesday Club, I was talking about this event I presented at for a women's group, and how that went. And we talked about the focus protocol, which was super great. We talked about decision-making fatigue. We talked about different ways to keep yourself motivated in your regular life, in your business, and also how to build work-life harmony, because balance is super tough, but finding the harmony there can be a lot more nurturing, full of self-compassion, less of self-rejection, and really focusing on what matters to you so you can do things your own way in your own time, and feel good about it and getting it done. So I don't know if you know, but October is National Women's Small Business Month. And so what that means is, it's a dedicated month to really highlighting the different needs of women who have small businesses, where you can nurture those, helping women start those businesses, having events, conversations, resources, tools, celebrations just around the amount of small businesses that are popping up by women, and women-owned, women-led, women-created businesses. So it's a super exciting time. And, in my work as a speaker, as a coach, as an author and a creativity expert, I work primarily with parents and teens. So, do a lot of parent education, workshop around helping there we go. Workshops around helping teens feel happy, feel whole, and teaching their parents how to continue to nurture that, just because sometimes we forget that our teens are still our children, and we forget how to play with them and nurture them at that particular point in their lives. So I spend a lot of time workshopping around that, and presenting to groups and all that. And I love that work because I am a teacher by training. And then the other prong of my work around being a creativity coach is really helping women in business and women with transitions come up with creative solutions to something that's very specific to their business, something specific to a motivation thing, something around their productivity, and ways that they can do it and still run their businesses, still be excited about it, and make these tiny shifts so that they don't feel like it's all or nothing. Because I know when I started my business, I just felt like I had to do everything by myself. And I mentioned this, I was totally heading toward burnout. I was signing up for different business coaching programs and trying to like take all that information in all at once. And I was just overwhelmed. And I was focused too much on being in business instead of doing the business, instead of, tapping into my current, at that time, tapping into my current networks, utilizing that to my benefit, talking more purposefully about my work and what I wanted to do and who I wanted to share it with, and asking for help. And even though I was starting out, and sometimes when you're starting out, if you're trying to save money, you don't want to expend too much resources, you don't build a team. So, I wasn't as effective right out the gate building a team, even if it's not a paid team. There's a lot of people who support people in various ways, and it's an exchange of services, or it might be volunteerism, or it might be like, girl, I got you, I want to help you. So, I struggled initially, even though I was having clients and doing speaking engagements. I was doing too much at once, and my scope was too big. I was trying to, be all things to all people. And, I quickly learned that I was either going to burn out, I was going to quit, or I don't know, collapse or something like that. And, being bold is not about letting all those things happen to you at once without getting the right amount of help. So I learned very quickly, and I learned swiftly how to, look at my past jobs, my past connection, my past skills, and then apply that to my business so I could be a skilled beginner and do things right at my level and not focus on comparing and despairing, seeing what other business women were doing, seeing the rate at which they were doing it, seeing how they were able to all of a sudden seem like they had it all together. I began asking more purposeful questions. I began networking more strategically and getting myself more aligned with businesses that complemented my work, but then they had different things to offer. I also spent better time picking collaborators. I have wasted a lot of times, and I've said this before, being with the wrong collaborators. We like each other. We want to be with each other because we think it's a good fit. But work-wise, it was terrible. Our productivity profiles were not aligned, completely misaligned. And when it came down to it, it was a waste of time with the work. Okay, come on here. Okay. It was a waste of time with the collaboration. So I am much better with that. So what I had decided to do, especially since this was my year to boost, that was my theme word for 2019, is I created a little, well, I shouldn't say little. Okay, don't minimize. That's not bold. I created this new ebook, which I'm super excited about, but it's all about building profitable and lasting client connections. Because, running my coaching practice, a lot of it is referral based for me, and being out there and having people talk about my work and get other people interested in me is a huge piece of my work. And, I love it because if someone is really connected with me and they like what I'm doing and it's helped them, it's supported something that they needed to do, it's helped them get out of their own way, it's helped them get bolder, get closer to their children, have less stress in their life, just feeling more fulfilled about their day-to-day life, then I've done my work. So what I did was create this connection guide, and I printed a copy for myself because I just like to, very tactile and visual. So I wanted to touch it. So this is my newest workbook, but it's an ebook. So people who purchase it, you'll be able to download it. And it's super pretty. It's very colorful. I worked with a great graphic designer because I told her, I said, I want people, when they're doing this type of work, which is super specific, and you have to dig deep, and you have to ask yourself hard questions, and you have to be honest with yourself, and, cut away the unimportant, practice the art of subtraction, get some clarity. You just don't want something that's just kind of blah and black and white. So she made it super warm, the colors, and then space for people to fill things out. We have gone too digital. When people are reflecting and getting their thoughts and ideas, we're all putting it in the computer or speaking it into their phone. And I say, you know, if that's the way you're going to journal or not at all, then journal that way. But of course, writing things down, getting the sticky notes, getting your ideas captured, moving things around, that's super important. It just really slows you down so you can get purposeful, clear, and really focus on what you need to do. So let me tell you a little bit about this ebook. So what I did was have different areas where you can map out your plans around connecting with clients. So if you have current clients, I talked about different areas where you could continue to support and work with them. As an example, I have these great creative clients, and you know, they're putting themselves out there to go to conferences to speak, to do TED Talks, to write their books and do things like that. And so as they're going through the things that we have talked about in the coaching sessions, I always give an incentive, like, you know, if you hit your goal, and you know, the timeline is very doable. I didn't say it had to be a certain date. It's just like when you hit that goal, then you will get this incentive. And I have like a little fun list of incentives, like you might get flowers depending on what it is. You might get an extra coaching session with me, or a session that's specific to creating something, or I might send you a fun playlist that's really specific around productivity and getting your work done. So, you know, I talk about different ways to nurture your current clients so that they feel supported all the way through. Because when I'm working with my clients, you know, they shouldn't constantly need my support. If I'm doing my job and doing my job well, then we should be moving forward. But they might come back to me to get additional help on another project or some type of transition, and that makes sense. So I want them to feel empowered to get their work done, their you work, like homework, their you work, YOU. So I have different incentives around there. And the incentives are all around inner wellness and constantly supporting yourself. Like once you put yourself out there, you can take a breather, you can take a break, but then we got to get back at it because we're building a business. You know, we're not having expensive hobbies. We are working, we are making money, we're being profitable, and we're loving our work and what we're doing. Also in the guide, I talk about, where is that page? I should have used my own sticky notes, but I didn't because I've been running around today. I had a nice long walk with a friend, and you know, I already got my 10,000 steps in, so I'm super excited about that. There's a section specifically on page 11 that talks about leveling up, and it talks about one area in your business, because you know, everybody says, I want to level up in every possible way. That's too much to do. We're not machines. We have to be really specific around doing this when we're in a small business. So I have a list of guiding questions that go along with how to level up. And then from the questions, I have this really great guide, and I'm going to show it to you, but it's probably going to be backwards, so sorry. But it talks about different ways that you can level up, and then how to map it, and then how to have a timeline for it. And the reason I think this is important, because we make these really long lists, these incredibly long lists, and sometimes they're super scary. It's too much to do. We're overwhelmed looking at it. And so I like to have things in small chunks like this, because then when you're working with your team and the people who are supporting you, you can use different smaller sticky notes, post-it notes, to move things around, so that as you are getting traction, as things are working or not working, because sometimes things don't work, you can move things around without getting so deterred about the process. You know, you can look at this system and see what's working, move things around, feel better about it, and then set up a doable timeline. Because I even had the beautiful graphic designer, she even changed the colors for the timeline, because we have to be realistic about the amount of time we have, the things that we can do. And, you know, a lot of times we get into our having our own businesses because we want more time for ourselves, more freedom, but then we end up overworking. We're working all the time. We're always thinking about our business. We're always doing so much. And, you know, the point of having your own business is to have the freedom and to do what you want. So, you know, we don't want to be working all the time. I don't want to be working all the time. I have some crafting and creativity to do. Another key part in this guide I think is super important is a whole section on time management. You know, time management. We only have so much time, and it gives you a space to do an analysis on the amount of time that you're spending on stuff right now. Is that working? Is that not working? And then it gives you a place to map out and tweak the areas that are not working. And it also talks about incentivizing yourself and things that you want to do, whether it's have coffee with a friend, sign up for a different workshop if you get XYZ done, have an end day where you're just in bed Netflixing for that day. You know, there's just a different incentives you can have for yourself so that it's not all work. You can combine your work-life harmony, which is super important. And then I also have these great, which I love how the graphic designer designed these great quarterly planning pages where you can map out different things. Like, you know, we're in quarter 4 and people always like, well, if you're in the quarter and planning for the quarter, then, you know, you're behind. I don't think that's necessarily true. You know, it is good to have a long-term plan, but sometimes you get this, you know, great idea and it's in the middle of the quarter and you want to get it done in the quarter. Well, you know, this e-guide will help you plan that out. I just had 2 weeks ago a super idea that I want to launch in November, and I'm working with a team to get it done. And, you know, I probably should have had the plan bigger, like made out before that, but it just came to me then. So I am going to chase it then. And I have the time because I've mapped it out. I've seen the areas I need help. And I had to scale back the idea a little bit because what I wanted to do was bigger than the time I had. But because I mapped that out, I was able to see that early on. And so when I do this thing again, which I'll tell you all about when it's closer, it's just a little preview. But when I do this thing again, I will map it out and give myself more time. But sometimes when we're trying out something new, we just have to see how it goes, but you can still be purposeful in trying it out and seeing how it goes and all those good things. So this guide is, let me see, I think it's 33 pages. No, it's 29 pages. 29 pages of bold goodness. And it's going to be on the Bold store. I will have it up later today. I got a little behind today, you know, just because life. But it will be up today. And then the video notes, I will have the information about how you can use a coupon code for it, a promo code. And the promo code will be Bold Connections. That's the information. And it'll take $5 off the ebook so you can buy as many copies as you want. And I always tell people, you know, it's really important to download these things and then print them out and work on them. And the other piece I always tell people, you know, sometimes you can just print page by page. So, because sometimes people will print the whole thing out and they'll think that I have to do this whole thing today or this whole thing in a week. If you know you have the tendency to try to eat the whole elephant at once, then just print out a couple of pages at a time. So, you know, understand your productivity style, understand how you tackle new projects so that you can set yourself up for success and not be overburdened by one more thing or trying one more thing. In addition to this, I am going to have 100, what is it called? I'm still finishing it up. Oh, a list of 100 tips for small businesses. And I'll be showcasing some of those on social media. And then people who order the ebook will get the list, the entire list of the 100 tips. But I'm just finishing that up. And that's been really fun. But, you know, I have to pause and take care of my family. And my husband is on a bunch of travel right now. So that has slowed my roll a little bit. But I am going more gently with myself because I tend to be, my productivity style, I tend to be a driver, but I'm trying to be more of a developer. So work in progress. So I've been giving myself some grace and just letting my clients and people follow me know the timeline. Because before I used to not want to talk about that because I didn't think I had it all together. But I don't always have it all together, but I am getting it together and I'm getting the help to get it all together. So that's the information about the ebook. Super excited about it. Look for information on Instagram and Facebook. And then hopefully people will be sending in questions about it and I can address those on the next Wednesday Club, the upcoming Wednesday Clubs. I love getting your questions or your suggestions about topics. So that's really helpful for me because, you know, bold people ask for what they want or what they want to learn, and I am here to help. And so you can check out all the information in the Bold Living Today store. You can just go to boldlivingtoday.com. There's a store tab. All the information is there. And like I said, I'll put all the information about how to get the ebook, access the ebook, and use the promo code to get your copy. I'll have that all in the video notes so that you can save money and get a great resource and support a woman in business. So I hope everybody's having a great Wednesday. It's 12:20 Pacific and my electricity is still on. So I'm super excited about that. Oh, what a hump day. So have a great day, everybody. I will see you next Wednesday at noon. That is the plan. Sometimes I have to change the time, but I always announce that ahead of time. But always plan to be here on Wednesdays at noon Pacific time, unless it's vacation time. So, let's be real about that, but I would let you all know that. Have a great day. Stay bold. And please let me know if you have any questions about the new ebook or anything else in regards to Wednesday Club, your creativity, learning from your transitions, untangling from things that don't serve you, and amplifying and building your boldness. So have a good day, everybody. Okay, bye-bye.